Rainier Avenue Radio, your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
2021 is the year of the local election. From fire district commission to school board to city council, there are over 300 offices up for election this year in King County alone. This could be your chance to serve in your community. Running for office can be daunting. We get it. With so many moving pieces, it's important to know what paperwork is due, when, how to file to put your name on the ballot, what's needed for a voter pamphlet, where you can and can't put campaign signs, how to get voter lists. That's where King County elections comes in. Well, we can't teach you how to campaign. We can teach you how to make your run official. Join us for one of our upcoming candidate workshops in April. Thursday, April 1st, 6 p.m. 8 p.m. Saturday, April 17th, 10 a.m. to noon. Thursday, April 29th, 10 a.m. to noon. Join us for one of our upcoming candidate workshops in April to learn the ins and outs of becoming a candidate here in King County. Sign up today at bit.ly King Workshops to get ready to run. That's bit.ly/King Workshops.
Sergio LaCour's Love Lines is on RainierAvenueRadio.world. Thursday nights at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. Music and dedications for the grown and sexy.
Women are not an homogenous group.
We face discrimination differently depending on factors such as ethnicity, age, socioeconomic status, and more.
Rainier Avenue Radio is proud to amplify women's voices.
They are the experts of their own lives, initiating conversations within their community about challenges they face, the solutions they're working on, and the opportunities they see.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 for Women's Voices on Air. We know our challenges. We are the experts of our lives.
We are master multitaskers, prioritizing our family, friends, and our faith above our own needs.
Our needs and voices are too often overlooked.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. for Women's Voices on Air.
We tell our stories in our own way.
This week's Rainier Avenue Radio Metro League Student Athlete of the Week award goes to Jason Brown, freshman running back for the O'Day Fighting Irish.
And handoff again, Brown on the left side, breaks the tackle. He gets to the sideline. It's off to the races. Brown, he may go all the way, Edwin. He's going to run him out. Touchdown, touchdown. Oh, my.
What a run. Jason scored 2 touchdowns while piling up rushing yards, and his ground game dominance contributed mightily to O'Day's victory in the Metro League Championship game against Seattle Prep. Congratulations to O'Day freshman Jason Brown, this week's Rainier Avenue Radio Metro League Student Athlete of the Week.
You're listening to RainierAvenueRadio.world.
Welcome to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It is the Wake Up Show. We are waking you up because this is the first day of our 3-day Earth Day Summit. So welcome. I'm going to tell you all about what's going on today. And of course, over the next 3 days, what you'll be able to see, what you'll be able to hear. And it's about environmental justice. This 3-day summit is called Earth Deserves More Than a Day. So Earth Day is Thursday, April 22nd. Well, instead of just doing it one day, you know how we get down at Rainier Avenue Radio, we decided to do it big, you dig? And make sure that the show is inclusive of a number of different topics that concern environmental justice. So we're going to tell you about the lineup for today, for sure. And then I'll just give you some general information. So for the next 3 days, we've got the Wake Up Show. We'll tell you about what's going on. And yeah, you know what? One of those things is the fact that if you're over 16 now, according to President Biden, anyone can get the shot. That's right. Anyone can get the shot. And I'll tell you, it's been nice. And as I say that, here comes a sneeze. I'm trying to hold it back. Not COVID. I've been outside doing my yard. And over the last few days, I think that everyone has been outside enjoying this beautiful weather that we've had. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to last, but it's been a nice little stretch that we've had here. What have you been doing? This is the Wake Up Show. We're going to be talking about Earth Day. Again, I mentioned that something in the news right now is President Biden said if you're over 16, you can now get the COVID shot if that's what you choose to do. The thing is that world records were broken in almost in every single week. Global COVID deaths are actually accelerating. And most of the COVID spreading appears to be shifting to younger adults. And I know that there was a thought that younger adults might be safe from this, but we'll see what happens with the younger adults. But yes, global COVID deaths are accelerating, and the young adults are the ones who appear to be catching the shift to this particular thing. Well, let's talk about Earth Day. All right, let's talk about Earth Day. Got some great stuff coming up for you. And right after this show, we'll be broadcasting the 10-year difference, which is a panel discussion about overburdened Earth by overpopulation. So that's right after the Wake Up Show. At 11, we've got the legislative RAP, which is environmental justice advocates, will be here having a panel discussion and telling you everything about what's been happening over the latest legislation period to support environmental justice and Earth Day. Or you may feel it's doing the exact opposite. That'll be at 11. At noon, talking climate change, another panel discussion about climate change. And then again at 2:30, false solutions, don't cap and trade our future away. Another panel discussion. If you're unfamiliar with this issue about the cap and trade that's taking place, this House bill, you really want to tune into this conversation and see what's happening. Yeah. And then just a number of different things. And we're going to then go to reflections about the promised land. This is going to be a really, really interesting discussion that will concern the earth, environmental justice, and native tribes that were here, the indigenous folks that were here prior to everyone else coming and taking their land. So that's going to be a big one. That's just today on the Earth Day Summit. That's Monday's schedule. But wait, there's more. I want to remind you, if you're tuning in, you're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world. It's me, Tony B, and we've just got a number of things going on, not the least of which is our 3-day Earth Day Summit. I do want to talk about some of the other things that we have going on as well. This Friday, we're going to hold a town hall meeting. Okay, 1:00, town hall meeting. Conversation will be about how you can run for public office. There are workshops that King County Elections hosts and puts on that will give you information about how you can run for office. Seattle Elections and Ethics Commission, you know what? They'll talk to you privately about what you can do to run for office. And there are these things called democracy vouchers in Seattle. Are you familiar with your democracy voucher? It's $100. You get to send that money into the candidate of your choice in Seattle. So we're talking mayoral race, city council position 8, city council position 9. And it works like money. You send these democracy vouchers in, you get 4 of them for $25 a piece. You can split it up. You can send 4 for $25 to 4 different folks who are running for office, or you can spend the whole wad on one individual. Now, here's the thing about it. If you've been thinking about running for office and you're saying, but I don't have a campaign staff, and how do I get the money to run for office? It's something that's what these democracy vouchers are for. So you should have received them if you are a Seattle resident in early February. If you've not received your democracy vouchers, contact Seattle Elections and Ethics Commission. You can also contact the Urban League. I'm sure they can hook you up as well. So you've got these democracy vouchers. It's pretty simple the way that they work. You get 4 of them for $25 a piece. I'm sorry I don't have one here to show you an example. You send it into your candidate. They take that and they use it the same way that it would be money. Now, if you're running for office and you still have time to do that, I believe it's May 17th, then you can get these democracy vouchers. You can have folks turn their democracy vouchers into you to help support your campaign. Now, what King County Elections and the Seattle Elections and Ethics Commission can do is tell you what you need to do. They can't tell you how to run your campaign. That's going to be on you. The way that you choose to run your campaign, that's going to be all up to you. But these democracy vouchers will help. So take advantage of this. If you don't have your democracy vouchers, if you've lost your democracy vouchers, call Seattle Elections and Ethics Commission, and I think that they can figure out how to replace them. All right. So you should have them, and it's your way to get involved in the electoral process. It keeps you connected to the sphere of influence, which, of course, means that your issues and your concerns become heard. And your politicians go, well, hey, wait a minute. These people are donating money to my campaign. Gives you a little extra boost, I think. I'm pretty sure it does. You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It's me, Tony B. This is our wake up show because this is a 3-day summit on Earth Day. The Earth deserves more than a day. So we're just talking about a few things that are going on right now. The Derek Chauvin trial is going on right now, and the defense and the prosecution have both rested their cases, and the jury is deliberating. They stopped deliberating last night. I'm not sure whether they got to go home or whether they were sequestered and all put in hotels. Of course, the world is awaiting a decision in this trial. Here's the thing about it. This is the way that this country is supposed to work as a democracy. I was just talking about elections. Well, you elect public officials to make decisions for the community that you live in, for the city that you live in, for the state that you live in, and yes, for the entire country. But then there are things that we get to do as citizens. Jury duty is one of them. And so even though there were several people who were there when Derek Chauvin, in my opinion, was murdered by a police officer, we all saw it, they couldn't do anything. They could film it, but they couldn't get the officers to stop. They couldn't get Derek Chauvin to move. They couldn't get the other officers to do anything. A group of folks who are on the jury get to make a decision. As a matter of fact, the defense said the people who were actually taking film to document what was happening were interfering with the police officers and Derek Chauvin, and it caused confusion and it distracted Derek Chauvin. So the people who were actually there using their cell phones to record all of this, who didn't anticipate this was going to happen, that's not how they started their day. All these individuals who came from various walks of life came together at this critical mass point where Derek Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd's neck and tried to take action. There was nothing they could do. The jurors can do something. So we, I'm sure, all await that decision to find out what the jurors will say. Now, may seem like to some folks, this is easy. We've got it on film. Do you remember Rodney King? Don't remember Rodney King. Rodney King was beaten with batons by multiple police officers. Everyone thought this was an open and shut case. Well, turns out that wasn't the case. You know what? I'm going to bring Aurora on right now, who's from Pop-Up Justice, and welcome her to the morning show. Welcome, Aurora.
Welcome. Thank you, Tony.
Right.
And I apologize, I was in a different studio.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We'll just wake up.
That's what I need to do. I need to wake up.
And that's why we're doing this. We are talking about the 3-day summit that's taking place, Aurora, and I'm sharing information just in general this morning for people to get everyone excited about the day, news about what's taking place in our community, and of course, the 3 days that we have planned for Earth Day. The Earth deserves more than a day. I kind of mentioned today's lineup, Aurora, but before we do that, let's talk you and I about how this came up. And again, I mentioned pop-up justice. Why don't you give us some background on yourself and then a little bit about pop-up justice? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Having all kinds of technical difficulties today. Pop-up justice is essentially a vision that I had that I wanted to do some creative social impact work. And it led me to the work with the Social Justice Film Festival and Institute, as well as other creative collaborations. And then ultimately also this work with you at Rainier Avenue Radio World. And then, of course, the work with Front and Centered. I am the co-director of Community Capacity Building. It is a relatively new organization, Front and Centered, but it is the largest statewide BIPOC communities of color coalition that has been in existence for the last, maybe about 5 years. And I have to say that I'm still a student of all of this work, as well as feeling like I have been involved in the social justice work, as well as the sort of civil access to justice work and civil rights work as a friend, but ultimately as a guest, really, of all of the coalition members. And so before I go into it a little bit more about the programming for today, I did want to just make sure that we take a moment to recognize the place we live, and also being on the ancestral lands of many, many tribes, people who have been here since time immemorial, and want to express gratitude for being allowed to be a guest here, and also being allowed to be a guest here on Rainier Avenue Radio World, and also being just allowed to be a friend to all the different movements that have come together, I think, this week. And this week is very much about a mixture of programming, creative programming that you and I have been talking about and gotten to know each other through the social justice film festivals of years past. And this week is really putting a spotlight. I think that Earth Day is more than just a day. Earth Day is about people and planet. Earth and people deserve more than a day this week, and in this moment, all the intersectional issues come together because we all face the biggest existential threat in the world right now, and that is climate change. And it requires all of our efforts. It requires an openness to have the kind of discussions, both policy, community practice, but also creative ways to bear witness, as we'll see through the films this week, and also ways in which we can take action. Now, there are always going to be differences of opinions and differences of strategies and approaches, but if we just take a moment, really, over the next 3 days that culminate to Earth Day Thursday, I think one of the most remarkable, exciting conversations this week on Thursday will be when Ruby Love and Sharon Chen have a conversation with Jakari Harris, the new executive director of the George Floyd Memorial Family Foundation, because it will be a conversation that brings a lot of issues that intersect and spotlight what we're trying to talk about this week. And that is racial justice, is environmental justice, and is social justice. It brings all the conversations together, and it's more than any one group of organizations or person or leaders. So I think that will be an interesting conversation.
I want you to keep going there, Aurora. But for those of you who are listening and said, wow, I want to be part of that's 3 o'clock on Thursday. 3
Right.
o'clock on Thursday. I went over the first day Tuesday. We're going to go over that again, but since you brought that up, okay, keep going. But that sounds really interesting. 3 o'clock on Thursday for that particular discussion. Go ahead, Aurora.
Right. And today, though, as you were saying earlier, I was watching your introductory remarks on my phone while I was trying to find the right links. And today we actually kick off with the place we live. And that's why I really wanted to make sure that I take a moment for all of us, you and I here in different studios, but all of us perhaps throughout the world who are tuning in, but most especially here in the Puget Sound region, to acknowledge where the place, where we are, where we live, where we come from.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna quickly, because I went over it, but when I go over Wednesday and Thursday's lineups, I want to come back to today, and maybe you can give us more specific information. In particular, I'm thinking the environmental justice advocates legislative wrap. I'd like to hear more about that, and then another if you choose to, or all of them. But I'm going to go over the Wednesday schedule, and of course, pipe in whenever you want to, Aurora. 3 days. The Earth deserves more than a day, and we are doing it big. You dig? So on Wednesday at 11:30, we're going to be back here again with the Wake Up Show. Okay, we get to start a little bit later. We're going to wake everybody up at 11:30 to get them ready for the day, and we'll go over the events that are happening on Wednesday, and we'll recap what happened on Tuesday. So that should be a good time. And at 12 o'clock, it'll be Transportation's More Than $1 Billion Traffic Jam. It's about the future of equity, access, and environmental justice. That's at noon on Wednesday. 1 p.m., Food Justice, Food for Thought.
Oh, that's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a fun one.
And 4 o'clock, From Here to There, environmental justice film shorts, Nurturing Roots, Community to Community, After Earth.
I really want to pause there because people really need to actually tune in to that particular set of films, because they are local films, they are short films, and they are beautiful films.
And that, again, is 4 o'clock, From Here to There. Then 4:30, environmental justice behind the lens and on film. All right.
Yes, that one is going to be a very interesting, I think, and engaging half-hour interview by Social Justice Film Institute Remoy Phillip, and also Alex. I have trouble pronouncing his name. Alex Goldstrom, who is the director of Mossville, an amazing, not to be missed film, an amazing film. It's a documentary film, and it takes place in Louisiana. When we talk about bearing witness, that is a powerful one. So we'll be able to play the trailer there. That will be on demand, and they'll be having a great conversation as two filmmakers who have used their camera to actually bear witness and then also inspire action.
Okay. And the title of that again is
The Making of Mossville, When Great Trees Fall.
And we're going to give you, you'll be able to see this, correct me if I'm wrong here, just one day, right?
Yes, just
we're gonna
tomorrow.
provide a link just to make that happen. All right. And Thursday, again, we're going to wake up. We're going to wake you up at about 11:30 so you can sleep in a little bit longer on Thursday. Then we'll be waking you back up to get ready for Thursday. Thursday starts off with the Earth Day to May Day, accelerating a just transition, Aurora.
A just transition. Now, apparently, as a student of this movement, which is really kind of cross-intersectional, a just transition, I think we're going to start to hear a lot more of. And the different speakers that you'll hear from today and throughout the week are much, much more familiar as community experts and scholars on the just transition. And this idea of a just transition, I think, in this moment is so powerful because, as I was saying earlier, and I am certainly not the only and first or last one to actually recognize the existential threat of climate change, but a just transition imagines that a real different world is possible, that equity is going to be manifest in different ways of doing things. But anyway, you'll hear more from the experts then.
Okay. And then for those of you who tune into our normal programming, we're going to continue to give you Afternoons with Monique Lay at 1 o'clock. A great show. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Stay and hang on for that. And then afterwards at 1:30, Bettina Carey will continue to do her show, Shattering Your Glass Ceilings. And then 2 o'clock, we're back on it again, resourcing the environmental justice movement. Aurora?
That's the one. That's the one with Jakari Harris being interviewed. He is the new executive director, a wonderful young man. I think he's like younger than 30, and he's already an author, and he is the executive director of the George Floyd Memorial Family Fund. And I think that in this moment where we see that the trial of the police officer who murdered George Floyd, it is almost just so overwhelming to think about how to unpack and understand the issues. But I think when we have this conversation, it will just be a little bit of a peek on what we need to actually resource the movement and the intersections between racial justice, environmental justice, police brutality, and social justice. It really is going to be an opportunity to say, let's take a moment, let's think about this. What tragedies have happened, what tragedies continue to happen, and what we need to do to connect the dots. And it will take all of us to take a moment and be patient with each other to come together. So that is going to be a very powerful conversation, I think, which then comes up with the intersections on equity and justice, local voices. On video, and environmental justice is racial justice. That conversation, I'm going to be interviewing 3 really amazing special people out of Tacoma, Pastor Christopher from Shiloh Baptist Church, as well as Sidonia Young, who is also an elder and leader from Shiloh Baptist Church, and also Reverend Melando Redeemer, whose name I love so much. The 3 of them will be talking about the intersections of racial justice and environmental justice, what they are seeing in the Tacoma area, and share stories that are both uplifting, but also stories that are hard. But most importantly, I think what they're doing today and the opportunity to collaborate with Shiloh Baptist on the installation of solar panels is just so demonstrative in a small and large way, the transformation that needs to happen. So they'll be sharing a lot of stories on what they're doing, including pop-up vaccinations for the community. And I am looking forward to that one.
All right. And same deal. We've got another movie, a feature film. Are we still Condor and the Eagle?
Yes. And that is another special event that will be available through a special link that is exclusively made for this occasion. And that is going to also involve a post-film panel discussion with a number of people from the film. It's another documentary film, a very powerful environmental justice film that the Social Justice Film Festival awarded as a prize-winning film. And it definitely is, I think, an appropriate film to end on for Earth Day Thursday. And that connects up the local and regional and global movement for environmental justice. I think it's very powerful. We'll have some local voices as well that really kind of try and connect the dots, that what we are doing locally to work hard, whether it is the farm worker movement or whether it is, Jakari talking about the work of the foundation, or the many coalitions in the Front and Centered Coalition group here in Washington State coming together to actually build together a just transition. So I think that is definitely not to be missed, because that is not easily accessible in terms of film that you can just get, but it has been made available to us for this particular day.
Now, we've got about 45 seconds left, Aurora. I went through day 1 today, didn't go through it as in depth as you did with the Wednesday and Thursday calendar, but I just got to know really quickly, tell us more about environmental justice advocates in the legislative rap.
Yes, there will be a number of environmental justice advocates, including a number of community groups who have been working with Front and Centered. They will be spotlighting some really great, in this last week of the legislative session, in this last stretch, which has been so hard. I think that they are going to have an opportunity to talk about some positive wins, some community building, and what we can learn when we come together. So super excited about that. They've got their expert hats on. I do not, and I just am here to celebrate what we can do together.
My partner in crime, if you will, Aurora Martin from Pop Up Justice. 3 days, Aurora. We talked about it. We're here now. We're about to get started. 3 days of celebrating in the earth and conversations, stories, panel discussions, and film. Wow, it's about to happen. Aurora.
It was I have to say, Tony, this was your idea. So I thank you. I thank you.
We have coming up next, the 10-year difference, overburdened by overpopulation. Hang on for that really quickly, Aurora, just a little information on that.
Yes. Little information on that. Again, starting in the place we live, we have 3 people who live in the Duwamish Valley to talk about the place they live. And the 10-year difference is the 10-year difference in life expectancy. And that's why environmental justice matters.
All right. Well, we're going to go to commercial break. For those of you who are listening to us on our audio broadcasts, just stay tuned. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, just again, use the link that's available and you can watch on our YouTube. Just go to our YouTube page and you'll find it there. You can click on it. You go to our Facebook page, same deal. You'll find the link there and you can click on it, or the same deal with Twitch. Yeah, wow. That's a big one, the 10-year difference. Here we go, Aurora. Everyone, I hope you enjoy today. Aurora, you and I will be waking folks up again tomorrow at 11:30, and we'll recap today.
All right.
What took place. So for Aurora Martin of Pop Up Justice, Social Justice Film Festival, Front and Centered, it's me, Tony B, saying, remember, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are probably right. We're out. See you later. Peace.
Peace.